My name is McDade. I am an early years practitioner in Law by Lane in McDade. I have had many roles in my life, and predominantly they've all been male dominated. This is the first role I've stepped into where I am the unique character in it. I've fit that way quite a lot of aspects though. I am much older than the other apprentices. Being a man in early years is unusual, and I feel like when I was coming in I wondered how people would react to me, because I feel like there might be a misconception that men can't be nurturing. Men don't have a paternal instinct, that we are less able to care for children, and I think that's nonsense. Like, I love what I do. I love forming my connections. I think Lullaby Lane is pretty unusual in the fact that I wasn't the first man here that was in either. It was my deputy manager, Chris. He and I have had the same sort of conversations where people maybe do have a little bit of hesitancy when they first see a man in this setting, but then they take the time to get to know us and they see our level of practice and how much we care about our children. Everything else is fine after that. It's had a huge impact on me. I've found out much more about who I am and my behaviours with the attachment-led practice, and I said the trauma-informed aspect of it. So now my regulation is infinitely better, which only works with the children. You can't help a child regulate if you're dysregulated, and helping them to be able to manage their big feelings is most easily done by an adult who knows how to manage their big feelings. My previous role, I helped people who had a history of criminal justice get into employability, and with that discovered ACEs, Ace Aware Nation, and the first conference that I actually went to was Compassionate Prisons. It seemed to me like I was helping people get out the river rather than wondering or stopping them falling into the river. And at the Compassionate Prisons conference I actually said to Fritzy, like, I want to stop them getting to that point. I don't want them to carry trauma about with them for all their lives, wondering what had happened to them, why they made the choices that they were. And I thought, so for me it was early years or psychology or social work. And after talking to Alison about it, I was like, maybe early years is the way forward. So came here, talked to Donna. I was already sold on the idea anyway, and then the enhanced apprenticeship happened. What that brings to me is a whole host of broad knowledge bases, covering from attachment theory to issues of race, definitely a lot to do with compassion and just how people view other folk, how trauma is perceived, where ACEs are actually developed, and the challenge for people, not just about understanding trauma and that ACEs don't happen in a set area, there's not like a boundary for it. It happens everywhere. The attachment-led style that we have here is particularly fascinating for me. I love the idea that we don't, it's not a punitive system, you know. We encourage our young people, our tiny humans, to understand that they have big feelings and how to manage them without exclusion.